We've got to go live now to the Shadow Treasurer ahead of the Prime Minister's news conference, along with Josh Frydenberg. Here's the Shadow Treasurer Jim Chalmers.
People who are already doing it tough. This is a full-blown cost of living crisis on Scott Morrison's watch, and now interest rate rises are about to be part of the pain. Now, this Prime Minister has an excuse for everything and a plan for nothing. When things are going well in the economy, he takes all of the credit. And when times are tough in the economy, he takes none of the responsibility. Now, he was speaking today about a shield. The only shield that Scott Morrison is interested in is to shield himself from the blame and to shield himself from people who are doing it tough. Now, he asked in his press conference earlier today, what would Labor not have him do? Well, Labor wouldn't have had him waste $20 billion of JobKeeper for businesses that were already profitable and didn't need it. Labor wouldn't have had him waste $5.5 billion on submarines that'll never be built, $1 billion on publicly funded political advertising to tell everyone how good he's going. We wouldn't have wasted $660 million on car parks, many of them that wouldn't be built, a tenth of that money for car parks in the Treasurer's own electorate. If only you could pay your mortgage with Scott Morrison's excuses. Now, this is a very serious development in the economy. There hasn't been an interest rate rise for almost 12 years now, since towards the end of 2020. Now, we are responsible and reasonable about the causes of this interest rate rise, and we know that there's more to come. We know that there are things that governments can do, and there are things that real leaders take responsibility for, which matter in the context of high inflation, rising interest rates, plummeting consumer confidence and falling real wages. If you look at the Governor's statement today, three things stand out. First of all, the Governor points out that increasingly domestic capacity constraints are playing a role in the inflation that we're seeing in this country. Secondly, he says that they expect inflation will climb even higher over the coming months. And thirdly, they expect the economy to only grow 2% next year, well below average, well below trend, very anaemic rates of growth, nowhere near what Australia needs if we are to prosper in the years and decades ahead. And so those points are important, and they're important because this election is a contest between a Labor Party with a plan for a stronger economy and a better future versus a Liberal Party promising nothing but 3 more years of the same falling real wages, the same skyrocketing costs of living and the same pressure on families, which is making it harder and harder for them to get ahead. Now, our economic plan is all about growing the economy without adding to inflationary pressures. It's about easing the cost of living. It's about getting real wages growing again, and it's about having something to show for a budget which is absolutely heaving with $1 trillion in Liberal and national debt. So those are the choices in this election. This is a tough day for Australians. This is another aspect of Scott Morrison's triple whammy in his cost of living crisis, falling real wages, rising interest rates and inflation spiralling out of control.